Joe Budden takes down episode where he disrespected Emani. All right, y'all. So some interesting things are happening at the Joe Budden podcast. Most notably, he made a joke where he violated Emani and said he would blow his mother's ashes all over the couch. Well, it looks like he took down the episode, but the audio is still up. So there's some confusion as to what exactly happened. But all I know is that the video version of it, that was just a still shot of something saying, all right, we are having technical difficulties. We cannot show the video, was taken down. And more importantly, the comments were deleted. And I wonder why that was. Possibly because the comments were just so mad at Joe for doing two things. First, for posting an audio only podcast, and also for disrespecting his friend Emani with that joke. However, Emani would play cleanup and decide to defend Joe, saying that he wasn't offended and friends that are that close to him can joke on him. He would say this on Spaces.
I would smack anybody in their face for playing with me in that way. I think I've already displayed that in too many different occasions. I think me being in the situation legally that I'm in now already expresses that. I don't have a problem with displaying my anger. I also don't want to be confused, and I don't want people talking for me.
So now we look at kind of the infrastructure of the Joe Budden podcast. I know people say I use infrastructure a lot, but has Joe created an insulation from being held accountable by the people within his circle? Obviously, if someone had said that to Emani on the street or on the space, Emani would have crashed out and probably seek to knock their head off. But Joe makes this joke and it's completely fine. And he even says that his sister saw it and they were okay with it. Now, I have a tough time believing that because I've always been told on Twitter, YouTube, in the comment section that you don't play with people's family, you don't play with people's kids. But what kind of standard is being set where it looks like the people who pay you are the ones who can cross the line? Yes, Emani can say, he's my friend, but he's also your boss, Emani, and this looks wild. I thought that type of stuff, that level of disrespect should not be put on the show. But then again, would I be a hypocrite for saying that, hey, if something like that happens on the pod, you should leave it in and not edit it out? But it is crazy that they've decided to edit out things that I feel were far less inappropriate, but left this in. And only time will tell. And we will have to see how Emani deals with seemingly being the punching bag of the Joe Budden podcast while everybody else gets respect. You can't joke about Flip like that. You can't joke about Ish like that. You can't joke about Parks like that. The only people who can really get roasted and violated is Melissa Ford and now Emani. Also, there are a lot of people still mad about the audio only episode. To give some grace, this is the first time that's happened. But I also think some theories out there about why it was audio only are pretty accurate. First of all, they were going to the Kendrick concert, and I think they were trying to rush things. So they decided, oh, let's just drop the audio only version and let's just call it a day. And that's probably what happened. But little did they know there would be consequences. And I've seen a lot of people saying they're going to cancel. They don't want to rock with it no more. And right now, it feels like the Joe Budden podcast is going through the death of 1,000 cuts. But like, there's no clear successor. There's no other second podcast. The only successor is Academics, and Academics is giving it up on his live streams. But for some people, live streams aren't really fun for them because they feel like it doesn't have the production values of like a podcast. And Academics has not been able to transfer his live stream presence to a podcast. If you look at his podcast, he's not the same person. So if he's ever able to do that, take the live stream act and put it on a pod, then maybe he can run a serious threat to the Joe Budden podcast. But as of now, there's no real competitor, and it's just Joe at the top with Drink Champs $1 million worth of game being really guest dependent. And people either like the show depending on the guest or don't like the show depending on the guest. Whereas the Joe Budden podcast is background noise, and he's background noise for 10 hours plus a week. So there's a different conversation to be had how he can captivate the audience versus $1 million worth of game, which is dependent upon someone being in the room with them. But let me know what you think about Emani seemingly caping for Joe. Do you feel like it's authentic, or do you feel like it's an undertone of corporate culture? hey, my boss said something, I gotta take it. Because I think that is exactly what happened. All right, y'all. Follow me on Instagram to Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter to Stop TV. Tap in with me on Patreon, y'all. This is Danny from the Stop. Peace.